Sup peeps, my name's Ian. I sell books on eBay and it's Monday morning. I've got Saturday, Sunday orders to get picked and packed up. 21 I think in total to get through today, so let's just see if this new setup actually helps me do that a little bit quicker. So I've just been recording away, but it turns out it was still in time lapse, so I'm not going to share that bit. Well, I might just show you how bad a videographer I am. But that still took me 28 minutes to pick all of that lot, which isn't too bad for 20 odd orders. Nearly everything is a stack. Stacks of 4, 5, 8, 10 and everything else in between. But it is easier now. You know, I've stacked high. I've got storage high, I should say, rather than previously it was kind of limited height wise because I just didn't have these units. But a few hundred quid invested. Hopefully it works. We've got the James Patterson wing, all these paperbacks there. I've got his hardcover stored separately, alphabetical from there, so you know, there we go, a bit of Joe Abercrombie. My A's and my B's. A's only take up 2 shelves, top shelf and the top shelf, and then we've got quite a few B's, and then moving on to, you know, the C's. There we go, we recognise that name, don't we? Lots and lots of C's. Lee Child, Tom Clancy, Patricia Cornwell, Robert Creas, Mary Higgins Clark, Michael Crichton, Colfer, Colgan, Court, Cleaves, Cassandra Clare. Yeah, so yeah, it just goes on and on and on. And a few more D's and C's. That's kind of a random C's shelf. So if it ain't a bundled author, I know it's on that shelf, which can still take a minute to get to because stuff can be at the back of that. But you know, it's working out. It's becoming worth it. Some slightly random stacks on the front there. So Richard Osman, Stephen King, J.K. Rowling. I've just got them sat there because that's where they fitted. Lots of S's and R's and T's, and yeah, you get the idea. You get the idea. There's still, that's an old desk that I've got there, corner desk that I used to use when I worked for an office. But I'm going to get that out and get at least one more unit in the corner there, possibly 2. I need to measure it up and see just exactly how it'll fit, which will take everything that is piled on those and give me a bit of additional space as well. I've got this old, I don't know, a Next unit that my sister gave me years ago, and it just keeps getting moved about the house. So I was going to take it out and put in another 2 of the metal rackings, but to be honest, it wouldn't give me an awful lot extra storage, so I've just left it for now. Maybe in the future I'll do something with that, but at the moment it's doing the job. It's got lots of lovely little compartments, so it makes it even easier to keep, you know, authors together. Charlene Harris has her own shelf. I've got another 12 of them to bring up that I've just listed. So yes, the setup is working, but nobody really cares about that, you know. Oh, Rosie Goodwin, isn't she lovely? What we want to do now is actually go through everything that I have just picked and have a wee look and see what it's sold for. So I am just trying to work out the best place to sit this. I think I'm going to sit it there. Well, it seems to work. It's got books behind me, so that's something, and it keeps me close to everything that I have just picked up. Got a wee pile of rubbish on the floor at my feet here. I'm just going to kick aside, and then we are going to have a look at what I have just picked. So starting with a bundle of 3 for £12.49, 3 Lee Child hardcovers. We know Lee Child sells, still my biggest selling author. if not the most profitable, not far away from it, but you know, it's low value, high volume, and this guy just spits out the door if you get the price right, if you get your listing right, and that's continued to be the case. I think we've got 2 Lee Child bundles going out today. So 3 hardcovers, £12.49. They might be over 2 kilos, but that's fine for 3 books. I'll put them down there. Next, we've got a big stack of James Patterson. Still a fun one to pick, because it can take a wee bit of digging, but we've got 8 of them. There you go, 8 James Patterson paperbacks for £15.99. So I changed up my pricing in the JP books. I've had a lot of them for a long time, and I'll get a wee flurry and they'll sell quite well and then they go quiet, so I'm trying to get that a bit more consistent. So typically bundles for most books, it's like £3 a book plus £3.99 postage, but if you buy 5 you'll get 2 of them for free, so it's kind of like £12.99 for 5 books, which I think is reasonable. With the James Patterson books, I've pumped them down to £2 a book, just because I've got so many and I can get so many that I quite happily have them churning out and going. So £15.99 for 8 isn't too bad. It will be about £6 to get that posted, so kind of £9 less fees. You know, it's less than £1 a book being made in that, but they're so easy to pick up that it makes sense just to do that anyway. Let's stick them down there as well. I did want to have a packing area up here as well, but I've just not got that far organised. Once I get the last couple of units into the corner, perhaps that will happen, but for now, no. Another bundle. Bundles. So this is a £12.99 bundle because it's 5 paperbacks that sell for £3 each plus £3.99 postage, but if you buy 3 you get 2 for free. So £12.99 for 5 Harlan Coben, another author that's just a kind of no-brainer. Pick them up fairly easily, not quite as easily as James Patterson, right enough, and they just sell consistently throughout the month. They just keep ticking over. I mean, that's it. Sales this month have been very consistent, not the best. I'm just kind of on par with I was, you know, for total sales where I was last month, but last month was a wee bit zigzaggy. This month it's been very, very consistent, so I have a good wee run at the end of the month, which typically happens, then that'll lift it, get me moving, but that's still 20% down on like 2 months ago. So the changes that I tried over the last few weeks, most of them haven't worked. I mean, that's, you've got to experiment, you've got to try. Most of them just haven't worked, haven't paid off. So I've kind of reverted back to how things were before, and that's got that consistent smooth sales running again. Speaking of consistent smooth sales, Michael Connolly, 3 Michael Connolly books. We've got The Drop and The Poet in paperback, and then a nice wee hardcover of The Black Box, £10.99 for the 3 of those. Again, another author, no brainer. If you see them, if you can store them, pick them up and sell them. Next, we've got an author that I haven't sold much of lately. Again, it comes in fits and starts. I've brought down the price very slightly on these. It's down to like £2.85 or something rather than £3 a book. But we've got 4 Philippa Gregory's heading out the door. Red Queen, White Princess, Kingmaker's Daughter and The King's Curse. So 4 of them, £11.49 for 4 books. So still a perfectly decent sale, even though they are a little bit cheaper. Right, an author which I didn't have set up as a bundle previously. This month I've accumulated a number of titles by certain authors and pulled them out and turned them into multi-listings. I think this is one of them. But within this bundle there is also a Robert Galbraith, which I've had as a multi-listing for a while, but we've got Troubled Blood alongside 4 Lisa Gardner paperbacks. So was that Catch Me, The Neighbour, Find Her and Never Tell. She likes her 2-word titles apparently, does Ms Gardner. And the 5 of them went for £14.49, because that is priced up a little bit. So yeah, a nice little sale. They're all nice little sales. Let's put them down there. Right, another bundle. actually, I came across what I'm going to call, it probably isn't, an eBay scam. I sent off a package, hardcover book, a hefty hardcover book. It's arrived and it's got the end of it shorn off, you know, like a machine has just chopped off the end of the book. So, oh, that's a bit unlucky. As usual, lots of bubble wrap into the poly mailer, off it goes. So sent out the customer another copy because it was something I had a few of. It was the fox, the mole, the boy, the wolf, the horse, the dog, the dragon and the elephant, whatever it's called. Went on to open the damaged claim and they came back saying, sorry, because it wasn't wrapped in corrugated card, there's no claim. You can't claim, because that's what they say you have to do. You have to wrap it in corrugated card for there to be a claim. So 2 issues with that, right? First issue is whatever went through that book would not have been stopped by a bit of corrugated card. It would have been stopped by like 10 layers of corrugated card. It went through a hardcover book and left a lovely clean cut right through the pages and through the back cover as well. Second issue, it was in an eBay branded poly mailer, a poly mailer that I buy from eBay's official store with my eBay voucher every month. So they're selling packaging that then if something arrives damaged, the fact that you've used their packaging voids any compensation claim. That doesn't seem right. So next time that happens, I will not be going through the eBay service to doing that. I'll be going straight to the carrier and raising a claim that way and see if it makes any difference. But I was really quite annoyed about that. I mean, it's a few quid. It's not the financial side of it that's an issue. It's the fact that the damage was clearly, I mean, it was very obvious that would not have been prevented by putting it in a bit of card, and the fact that it was in an eBay branded poly mailer bought from eBay for the purpose of sending items out. Yeah. Anyway, that's my gripe. Bye. We're going to move on to another little order of 5 books. Bit of a mix this lot. We've got 2 John Connolly's, 2 Stuart McBrides, and Marsali Taylor. Didn't even know I had that book, but apparently I do, and now it has been sold. So Death in a Shetland Isle, a bit of Scottish going on there, and then a wee bit of Nova Scotia, well, almost Nova Scotia. But the 5 of them, can you guess how much they sold for? That's right, $12.99. So put them down there, and we shall move on because we have yet another bundle. It's just bundles and bundles and bundles today. I did have to pick and pack a couple of these bundles much earlier today because one of them was an absolute beast and I wanted to make sure I could hand that in at the Royal Mail office rather than everything else will go into the parcel box okay, but that was one I wanted to get done, so I did a couple earlier on, and I will seamlessly edit those into this video and you won't even notice the cuts, promise. Anyway, for now, 5 Anne Cleeves, another no-brain pickup. I don't find them quite as often, but when you do find them, you'll find 2 or 3 or more at a time, and they sell again fairly regularly. So $12.99 for the 5 of those, followed by here it is, the second Lee Child bundle, which is these ones, 5 Lee Child paperbacks this time, £12.99. Definitely a theme here, isn't there? I mentioned earlier on that I had changed back everything that I had tweaked. Not everything, but a lot of things. One of the big differences I'd made was I wanted to try and get more of the single books moving or get people interested in them. So typically what I had before was a single book would be listed for around about £3 plus £3.99 postage. So expensive if you want to buy it on its own, but people still did. But again, angling towards that bundling thing, so you can choose 5 books from anywhere in the shop and you'll get the cheapest 2 for free. So if they're all £3, it's going to cost you £12.99 for 5 books no matter where you choose them from. But there wasn't a huge number of those going out, and it was stuff that takes up a lot of space. The listing fees begin to add up, you know, over the weeks and the months if they're not selling. So I changed everything over to like $4.25 or $4.35 or $4.99 for a single book, which really didn't make me any money if they sold as singles, you know, pennies in most cases, especially if they go promoted. But thought it'll get them moving, and if I can shift an extra 100 books a week and I'm only making 25 pence in each book, it's 25 quid, you know, not going to sniff at that. But it didn't really change much overall. I did sell quite a few more single books, but it wasn't increasing the turnover. My bundles were dipping and dying, and I've oft suspected that eBay does have some sort of capping on your sales. There's certain items that will go beyond that, but for a lot of stuff, it feels very controlled. You know, no matter what you put in, what you bring in, that's within the normal parameters of your shop, my sales don't really change much, averaging about £160 a day. So they are creeping up, but not doing it the other way around didn't make any great difference, and it meant an awful lot more work for making the same amount of money. So there was very, very little point in doing that. So I've changed all of those listings back to just like £3 a book plus £3.99 postage, and people can bundle them if they want. Last couple of weeks, haven't seen much of you guys, but you know, over the last few days, couple of weeks, there's still been a number of single books going out, £3 plus £3.99 postage, and people seem happy to buy the odd book that way. Excuse me. But those sales have also been coming from my bundle listings. So, you know, if I've got a load of Stephen King books, somebody will buy one of them from that multi-listing on its own and pay the £3.99 postage for it. So I say, flipped everything back. Sales have improved over the last week or so since I've done that. Value of sales, quantity has stayed pretty much the same, but you know, you just got to keep tweaking, keep trying things one at a time, continuous improvement. Some stuff will work, some stuff will not work, but once you know it doesn't work, you can move on to the next thing. And as long as you're making small changes at a time, then you're not going to do anything that will massively impact on your overall sales, your business, your productivity. So that's what I was doing with that. Anywho, a single book. We sold a single book. £12.99. The Running Grave by J.K. Galbraith. So that's the new one. I found it a couple of times. It sells pretty quick, pretty well. £12.99. No postage in that. It was just listed at £12.99. So very nice. That's heading to Julie, who's an army lady. Right. Oh, I mentioned Rosie Goodwin earlier on, and now we have some Rosie Goodwin sales. So, Dilly Court. Now, if you've watched any of these videos, you know Dilly Court sales. That type of kind of historical family saga, romantic fiction, really, really popular. It always has been, it always will be. So I've been looking for other authors which fit within that same mould. So who's written a lot of titles, or a significant number of titles at least, and is still currently writing and is still currently popular. And Rosie Goodwin is one of those. So she seems to be moving the same way as Dilly Court, even to the point of that book's called Dilly's Sacrifice. I don't know if that's an intentional thing or not, but 3 Rosie Goodwin paperbacks, £9.99, and I've just started grabbing these when I see them, because it is an author that I see quite regularly but didn't necessarily bother with before. So now when I see them, I'm grabbing them and adding them to that listing, and it seems to be working. Sold a few bundles, so £9.99 for 3 of those. And another of our women's authors who sells well, Katie Ford. Yeah, good summer books these. A Springtime Affair, An Escape to A Country Escape, A Wedding in Provence, Recipe for Love, and Time Out. Love can grow on you, so you get the idea. But again, they're popular, fairly easy to find and pick up, and they sell pretty well, so why not take them? 5 of them, £12.99. Moving swiftly on. Last couple of bundles coming up, and they're both by the same author. We have David Baldacci, 5 of these bad boys, £12.99. Followed by David Baldacci, Fiverr's Bad Boys, £12.99. Two different buyers, but they bought them like within, I was going to say within moments of each other, but did I just see them? No, not within moments, but both yesterday evening. So two David Baldacci bundles, £12.99 each. Baldacci's awkward, depending which books get bought. It's just over 2 kilos for that stack, so it's the £6 postage option, which means that you're making an awful lot less on them. But again, he's a pretty easy author to pick up. You'll find them in lots of places, and if you do have shops where you can get books 3 for £1, 2 for £1, whatever it might be, you will find David Baldacci books, so it makes it worthwhile. If you're paying 50p a book, 2 for £1, that's going to cost you £2.50. Taking in £12.99 on the sales. eBay is going to take about a third of that off of me, so what's a third of that? £4.50. Let's call it a fiver. So £7 for fees and the cost of the books, £6 to post them. That's your £13. So it's very, very, very small margins on that particular bundle if you're paying 50p a go. But if you can get them regularly, it can still be worth it. And if they don't sell promoted, you get an extra couple of quid out of it. However, you can get them 3 for £1, then suddenly you make a couple of quid off of each bundle that goes. So it's kind of worth it, kind of not worth it. And if you get it just right, they're under 2 kilos, so you make a lot more money on them, but it can be a wee bit frustrating. Anyway, last sale for this morning is the Elizabeth Omnibus. So Young Bess, Elizabeth Captive Princess, Elizabeth and the Prince of Spain by Margaret Irwin. I had this sitting for a while. It's just one of those books that I saw and I thought, oh, that looks quite nice. It's big, it's historical fiction, it's 3 books in one. Let's grab it, see what happens. Sold for £3 plus £3.99 postage, so £6.99 for that one there. That's it. That's all there is to it. Let's say those other couple of orders that I've already done will have been edited in, so you won't even have noticed that I dropped them in as I was going through this. I need to go make a couple of changes to my stores. The shipping time, with everything that I had going on, I had moved my last shipping time till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So if somebody got an order in by 4, then I can get that packed up and dropped off at Royal Mail before their final due. We're now heading into summer holidays up here in Scotland. This is the last couple of days of school, so things are going to get a bit more difficult to do at that end of the day. So I'm just going to change it all back. Orders in by 11, I can get them out same day. Anything after that, I might get them out same day. I mean, I'll still try and get everything out as quickly as I can, but otherwise I'll need to wait to the following morning, which actually makes these videos an awful lot easier to do. Because rather than kind of picking and packing throughout the day as orders come in, I just wait, do it all in one go in the morning, share it with you guys, and then scoot off to the Royal Mail office and drop them all there, with a few exceptions in amongst it. Robert Ludlum trilogy, the Bourne trilogy, you know, Identity, Supremacy, Ultimatum, whatever order they come in. Pre-made bundle, really good condition, £9.99. And Enid Blyton, Mallory Towers box set, which went for, I just need to find it here, definitely sold, I know that much, definitely sold. Just can't remember how much it sold for. What was it? Oh, there we go, £9.99. The final Winnie the Pooh bundle, it's, was it Learning Library or Out and About with Winnie the Pooh, that's it. 19 volumes. Picked them up a couple of sets of this, and that's the last one gone, £25. So, you know, can't complain. And next up we have 10 Jacqueline Wilson paperbacks. So a nice wee mix, a couple of Jacqueline Wilson lots going out today, but £15.99 for that little bundle there. Another 2 Jacqueline Wilson, £7.99. And a couple of Peter Robinson, £8.99. You know what? I was just about to take all of those books downstairs and pack them on the table I usually do it. I figured, do you know what would be much easier? To go and grab the bubble wrap, the bag of the tapes, scales, bring them up here. To do this, my picking video, I technically get a wee bit of space to organise that, and that means that I've got space for those bits and pieces here where I am, which is a really, really simple setup. I've lost the end of my microphone. Found it. So a very simple setup. Scales with a bubble wrap roll pulls up to it, and then just bags, tape, scissors. That's everything that's needed to do this. It's all within reach. I can grab what I need from wherever it is, although I'm going to just clip the microphone slightly out the way because I can't hear anything. That doesn't make any sense, but it does to me. So I'm just going to rattle through it all here, give you an idea of how this goes. So let's just get on with packing stuff up. The Elizabeth Omnibus, which we have just seen. So let's see if I can just move this ever so slightly so that you can kind of see what I'm doing here. There you go, that kind of works. Unfortunately, it's on top of the books that I'm about to pack, so let's just sort this out. Well, that seems to be a wee bit better. So this is how I pack. It's very simple. You take your book, you take your promo rubbish, your bookmark, stick it in, fold it over a couple of times, get your scissors, snip, 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 tuck it up, tape it down, and you've got a bubble wrapped book brick. Choose your bag, the eBay official packaging that voids your compensation claim should the item get damaged in transit. Yeah, I'm quite annoyed about that, can you tell? Stick it in there. I need to get some extra lighting up here. I think it's a bit dull, but I'm sure it's working for you here. That's it packed. What I then do is get a weight, and the one thing I forgot to grab was my Sharpie, because Sharpie is a man's best friend, which means I can write on the package that it is. Now I don't put exact weights on because the post office don't care. It's up to 1,000, so it gets 1,001 kilograms. So I write that on it, first part of the postcode, and then it goes to the side. Pack them all in order. Then when I go into the Royal Mail app, I can upload everything in order, and then when the labels print off, they're in order, which is really kind of important to make sure that it all works well. Next up is one of our Baldacci bundles. Because there's two of these together, I want to make sure I get them right. So it's the one with one good deed, which is, make sure they've not both got that. They don't. There we go. So two there, so that's nice and level. One across the top, bookmark, and then fold and roll. It's as simple as that. You can just square them all up. Fit your bubbles. Tape it. Tape it. Tape it. There you go. A doddle. And the wee eBay bags won't work for this one, so these are bigger mailers out. Lots of squeaky creaky noises doing this, isn't there? And it slides in there. You can see you don't need a lot of space to have a book packing station. More space is useful, I have to admit, but it doesn't have to be acres and acres of land to put things in bags. Seal it over, get the weight, 2.3 kilos. What did I say? It was always going to be too big. So 2,500, see, I always just round it up, and that is going to there. Weight on it, postcode on it, and into the stack, keeping them in order, which means the next one is another bundle of Baldacci's. Get our bubble wrap up and ready. Oh, it's falling down on me. 2 books there, 2 books there, and 1 across the top. Square them up as best you can. Wee bookmark, nearly run out of those, and I haven't ordered any for July. I wasn't sure what to do about it because they're not cheap, and I've been spending all my money on storage units. Not storage units, shelving units. All over. Feels a bit weird doing this up here. It's all slightly out of sync. My printer's still downstairs, but everything's Wi-Fi, so I should be able to still do everything I need to do from this end of the town. Grab a bag. Oh, I've picked up 2. Let's see, it's definitely a wee bit tight doing this here like this just now, but everything is still within reach, and that's, I think, the key. Of that bag, so it's noisy a bit. If everything is within reach, then these processes become much more efficient, much quicker, and you can get an awful lot more done in a lot less time. What weight? 2.5 kilos. No, it's not, it's 2.3, but round up to 2.5. And this one is going to, let's just find the postcode, it's going to there. So weight, postcode, into the pile. It's very rare that you get a duplicate postcode at the level of sales I'm at anyway, that's for sure. So that has always been more than enough to identify things correctly. And next is the Katie Ford bundle, which is right there. So we get our bubble wrap, we get our books. I've still got a wee price sticker on it. Off it comes. One across the top. And that one across the top makes a big difference to keeping it packed together with a tight package. We love a tight package. Roll them up. I can't decide which side it's easiest to cut the bubble wrap from here. I usually go right to left all the time, but this is a bit more awkward to do that way. Put it down. Forgot to put the bookmark in, so I'll stick it on the top. I've already got a grey bag out. Pick them up, see with the book across the top, that stays really solid. And if you're selling a bundle of 5, you know, 99 times out of 100, you will find 4 that will balance out, and then 1 over the top, whichever is the spare size, which is always quite good. And Katie comes in at 1.5, so we just call it 2000, and is going to I'm going to see the postcode. It's going to there. Sassy. Right. And again, into that pile. What comes after Katie? I'm guessing it's going to be Rosie, because she's the next one that's there. And it is Rosie. Going to David. Well, that's the person of the rest. So the 3 Rosie Goodwins, just stack them one on top of the other. Bookmark. Roll them up. Roll them up, roll them up, roll high. Snippety snip. Stickety stick. So, I had a wee suggestion in the comments the other day, or an ask, I suppose you could say, about, you know, could I do something on which kids' books sell well? I don't really, I never feel particularly qualified to comment on that and say if you buy these books they will sell well, because I stock a handful of children's authors, not many when you consider how many different authors there are out there. But there's a few that have sold quite well, 1,000 grams on that one. A few that have sold quite well, so I've picked up more of them. So I really wouldn't want to say, yes, these are the ones that sell well or sell better than anyone else, because I don't know that. I've just not tried enough of them. But, having said that, there are a few which, for me, and that's for me, I don't know how it will work for anyone else, but for me, they sell well. A few that don't sell well at all. I want the Bobby G book now, with a bookmark. So the ones that sell well, but took quite a long time before they started selling. So a lot of this is down to getting a listing that gets a bit of momentum. Jacqueline Wilson. I had Jacqueline Wilson books for donkeys. Absolutely ages. And they didn't sell, but I kept picking them up because I kept seeing them and they're easy to find. And then all of a sudden I got a sale off of that listing. And as soon as I got one, I got another, and that started it ticking over, and they just kept selling. So patience, perseverance paid off, and now Jacqueline Wilson is a pretty good seller for kids books if you can get them cheap. A lot of places will do kids books very cheap, others don't, and if they don't, they're probably not worth picking up. But if they're cheap, then they are. But they only sell for like a couple of quid a book. This bag is burst. I'm going to use a different one. Yep, so because they're only selling for a couple of quid a book, you've got to make sure you're getting them cheap, and then you can get them spat out in large numbers. But it's the type of author that you will find a lot of them. Well, I certainly do. Everywhere I've gone, I have found a lot of them, so it's not particular to just a couple of shops around here. So Jacqueline Wilson, that's definitely one. The old Tracy Baker. One that doesn't sell well, for me, I'm sure it does for others. James Patterson middle school books. Picked up, nice wee stack of them. I think I've sold like 2 in the last year. So James Patterson middle school books, for me, they do not sell well. I don't pick them up when I see them anymore. 1.2, so we'll call it 1500 for Robert Galbraith. And it's going to, I keep going too far down on my screen for the postcode, but now I've got it. So yeah, Jacqueline Wilson, yes. James Patterson, no. Other childish authors. David Williams. So for a long time I sold a lot of David Walliams books, and it's just kind of stopped. It's the Silly Child paperbacks next. Yeah, sales have completely dried up on those. I don't really know why. I've not given it much thought. I've not done anything to change it, I don't think. It just is what it is. But I've got no doubt they'll come around again at some point and start moving. Because I've got dozens of David Walliams, and I still pick them up when I see them, because I have sold a lot of them in the past. So I made some changes. That was one of the listings that I changed when I was trying a few different bits and pieces. You know, making them free postage and cheaper books and whatever it might be. And I think that had an impact. It was an experiment that didn't work across the different titles I did that with. And obviously I've now changed it back, but it's been changed back for a good few weeks, and the sales have yet, put a bookmark in that one, the sales have yet to come back to where they were previously. So I'm just persevering. I know David Walliams will sell, so we'll keep going with them until they're taking up an inordinate amount of space, in which case I may reconsider. But for now I would say yes, David Walliams sells. As with all these things, make sure you're getting them cheap enough. If you can't get them cheap, then it's not worth it. It's always got to be cheap to make it worth it. It feels very dark in here. These dark clothes I wear don't help. I think I'm going to remedy that. Because it's boiling. It was raining when I went out earlier, so I put the overshirt on and I forgot to take it off. And now I is sweltering. Wee child comes in at 1.85, so 2,000 grams, 2 kilograms, about £4, and it's going to, oh, it's a fairly local postcode, that one. And into the pile it goes. Right, I've got a car key in that pocket, so I don't want to lose that. Oh, let's just cool down a wee bit. Stick that in the door handle. Oh man, it is sweltering. Oh, that didn't work very well. Oh, fix me t-shirt and put that in the door handle. Oh, that's better. It doesn't feel too warm now. Anyway, next on to, what was it, Anne Cleves, because she's next in the pile. Children's authors that do and don't sell. So David Walliams, yes. Even though he's not sold much lately, I would still pick up David Walliams. Children's authors that don't sell particularly well. Let's think of another one. There's been, I've tried quite a few different kids authors just to see what will work, but I tend to just have one or two of them rather than it being stacks and stacks, because everything takes up space and I don't want to end up with thousands of books just sitting. Val McDermott kids books don't seem to sell particularly well. Joe Nesbo kids books don't seem to sell particularly well. However, Percy Jackson does. So Rick Riordan, always worth it. Ian Colfer, whoever you want to see it, he sells alright as well. If you can get a few of these and put them together, then they go quite good. Cressida Cowell, the How to Train Your Dragon books, they seem to sell. She's written a few titles out with the Dragon series, which I have picked up and tried. Wizards of Once, no, it's not as good as the Dragons, but it does go, so it's not all that bad. I did say Julia Donaldson, didn't I? Because Julia Donaldson is the best selling children's author for me by a long shot, and I find them everywhere. One of the shops I was into says, see you next time you're in, we've got a whole stack of kids books. Do you want to just take them because we can never sell them? Which really surprised me. This is going to S. 2,000 grams for end cleans. Because like Sir Julia Donaldson, David Williams, they're really popular. But what they're saying is the people that go into their shops are buying books. If they're buying books, they're buying them for children. And when they're buying them for children, it tends to be an older generation rather than like the parents who maybe know what's current. So they go in and they pick up the Enid Blytons and the Just Williams and the not Billy Bunter, I was making that one up, but that's the kind of thing you'd imagine. So they tend to pick up those types of sets. What's we got? The Stuart McBride mix bundle, rather than things like Julia Donaldson and such as such. Well, that will change over time as people get closer. There we go, 4 nice and flat, 1 across the top. You know, the Gruffalo's been about for a long time now, so that'll start to get into the next generation of buyers. But they really struggle to sell their kids' books, which, let's say, does surprise me. But they still get a lot of them donated, and they were just wanting shot of them. So it says, look, we've got all of them there. If you want them, you can just have them. So next time I go in, I'll have a wee look and see what they've actually got. And I won't just take them. I can never bring myself to do that. Free doesn't feel right. Free makes it feel like next time I go in, there might be some pressure for that same kind of bargain price. I don't like that. So I will pay them for them. And you know, there's places where I can get this like 7 kids books for £1, kind of a random number, but that's you know, for a lot of random stuff I might be willing to pay that. If they want me to take everything, then I'm going to pay less, because there'll be an awful lot in there that I don't actually have any use for, and I'll end up just taking them out to the community book shop round at the supermarket. So it's got to be right. And there's a lot of kids books out there which are not worth picking up at all. Lots of library ofs and stories of, and you know the type. 2 kilos, and that is going to there. So yeah, there'll be a few bits and bobs that will be absolutely no use to you whatsoever. You know, Hubert's Golden Treasury of Grim Fairy Tales. Does it exist? I don't know. Should it exist? Definitely not. So there's always that dross in there, and lots of annuals and all sorts of things. Right, what do we have next? It was the Gardner Galbraith bundle. So I think what other children's authors are bangers, and which are mash? I don't really know. You get things like Pittacus Lore, Darren Shan. They've never really sold for me. I've got a few stacks of them. In fact, I picked up a whole big bundle of Darren Shan again the other day, yesterday even, which I haven't listed yet. I'll be doing that this afternoon. And every now and again, a wee bundle of them goes out. So they've got their little shelf, and that is where they stay. But I really shouldn't pick them up, because they really don't sell. But I like them, they look like nice books. So yeah, that's the Darren Shan kind of kids horror type books, which are maybe a wee bit niche, even within the children's book niche itself. Niche. However, Beast Quest does sell well. Beast Quest always sells well. If you can find them, and you can find them with the trading cards intact, especially. It's not a necessity, but if you've got them all and they've all got the trading cards still in them, then it's much easier to sell them than otherwise might be. Roald Dahl. I have mixed success with Roald Dahl. I find it really finicky to list his books because there's so many different editions, 2000s, that you can end up having like 10 listings just for the BFG, and it's just awkward. I don't like it. So a stack of Roald Dahl to list actually, but recently I've been pulling it together into bundles, so either like a vintage bundle or a modern bundle. Where's Roald Dahl? It should be just here. I could have shown you what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, it's right here. So you've got your modern Roald Dahls, stick them in a bundle, or I only see one vintage one here just now. You've got that kind of vintage 80s style. You can stick all of them in a bundle. So kind of try to grab 10 titles, and I've got stacks and stacks of Roald Dahl to do this with, including stacks that I haven't listed yet. So kind of pulling that together and sell like 10 Roald Dahl books for X amount. I sold a bundle just the other day, but I can't even remember what they went for. Just kept calling my post. It was about 16 quid. So that's pretty good. Again, if you're getting them at kids' books prices, yeah, what's to complain about? Next we are going to do Philippa Gregory, which was a 4-book bundle. Let's stick them on there and on there. It's only 4 books, so there's less chance of getting them to match up, but still pretty close. Yeah, I'll take that. Bookmark on, not one across the top, so this is going to be a much floppier package. There we go. Not too, in fact I'll roll it round again. I'll stiffen it up. Don't want a floppy package. Nice and tight. Anyway, see how it's a bit floppier. It's not so good. You can fix that quite easily. Just a bit of tape. Tape around the waist makes quite a difference, but it doesn't make that much of a difference that I very rarely do that. I just did it there to show you what I was talking about, and because the sound of tape being pulled on film is just one of the worst things in the world, so I thought I'd share that with you all. I'll share that with you all. So Philippa Gregory Granovanskich can go in the bag. It ain't going to weigh 2 kilos, but that's what I'm going to write on it. 2,000 of your finest grams, sir, and it's going to there. We're getting through this. Zero out the scales again. There we go. So after Philippa came Michael. And Michael beget Harlan, and Harlan beget Patterson. I picked that up before I've got my cling film. Not cling film. Cling film. Twonker. It's clearly not cling film. It is bubble wrap. 3 Michael Connollys. They'll just stick in a little stack like that. Fold them, fold them, fold them. Keep those parcels folding. Bookmark. Keep it. Anyway, I can't think of any more in the kids' books, to be honest. Asterix has sold okay for me. And it's in a vintage Asterix type books. In fact, quite a few vintage kids' books do all right, but they don't come up very often. The boy, the fox, the mole, and the horse, whatever the heck it's called. It's those names in one order or another. I've had quite a few of those, and they always seem to sell quite well. So just as an individual title, it does okay. That's from individual listings in the past and from a multi-listing, until it got chopped up by the delivery company. 2,000 for Mickey C going to there. Right, we're nearly at the end here, peeps. We've got Harlan next. Michael beget Harlan. Oh, 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Match up the sizes. Get them into a nice little, almost pyramidal bundle, that one. Fold them and roll them. Neaten it up. And it's as simple as all that. A bit of baggage. And it's 2,000 grams, or 2 kilograms, or about 4 pounds. And once again, I can't see the postcode. There it is. I think that takes us to our, oh no, two more lots to do, and the next one's a wee bit different how I pack them. It's the James Patterson lot. So I think there's 8 of them in total. Quite often I'll get like an order for 10 books, but this is for 8. So I used to put these into a big pile, struggle to get some bubble wrap around them, and then wrap them in card, but it was a lot of trouble and it really wasn't worth the effort, if I'm being perfectly honest. It made very little difference to the whole packaging. So now I do it like this. I split the order in 2. So it could be 2 lots of 5, 2 lots of 4, whatever it might be. And bag them up separately. Because it's nice and neat. What it does is it doubles up my packaging costs. But for an extra 10p, I'm quite happy to do it. So we put the first lot in there. So there's the first 4. Strap them down, set that one there. Now we get the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's nearly always a way to get them practically level. I'll drop the bookmark on these ones. Fold them and wrap them. Snip it. Bag it. bagged it. We set it tape seal side up, and then we take that one and we put it tape seal side down. And bundle them together. Now I guess it would be cheaper to use a free cardboard box, but I never find a cardboard box that's just the right size, so it ends up having to be Frankenstein, which takes a heck of a lot longer. I don't mind doing it when it's necessary, because I want things to get there in good nick, but I avoid it wherever possible. An extra, 10, 12 pence, whatever it is in packaging. A minute with the tape. And it's good to go. That's it, nice and simple. This is a big boy, will be 2.8, so we'll call it 3. And going to there. 69, dude. Right. Put that one down there, and that leaves us with one more order, which is our Lee Child hardcovers. Okay, we've made it all the way back to these boys. Stack them up, 3 books, they'll go in a pile. Lee Child hardcovers are always just under 2 kilos. Sometimes they're over, but usually they're just under. Especially as newer books tend to be just a little bit skinnier. So there's a couple of them in there. That works out nicely. They're hardcovers, so that means they've got corners. So a wee bit more bubble wrap, just to be sure they're going to be well protected. Although not eligible for compensation, because they're going in a bag, not a box. So I always try and bundle up the bubble wrap on the end, because that protects these corners a lot better. And you could stretch it all the way up and over the top, but that's where it needs its backside cushioned. So it gets a good bit of padding. One more greyish bag. And all we need to do is write 2 kilos on it and the postcode, which is right there. And that is how to pack. It's really that simple and straightforward. Got my microphone clipped in lots of weird and wonderful places here, so I've now got a cable running under my Oxter. Let's bring that over here, and I'll just snink it there where you can probably still hear me okay. So yeah, this turned into a really long video now that I've done all of that, but I think it gives you a good idea of what it takes to do all this. So that was about 200 and, in fact I'll tell you exactly, £186 worth of orders in that lot. I'd already packed some up earlier on, as I said. So £186 in orders. Need to see how much it's going to cost to post, which is a different thing in itself. And then about a third of that in eBay fees. So we're looking at about 60 quid in fees. So we're down to about £120. And then we have the postage side of things, which, let's just quickly work that out. I say that, it'll probably take me about an hour. I say, oh, everything's really quick and smooth and wonderful, and then it isn't. So let's just angle the screen slightly, let all of them load up, and then we can put in our weights, which is, this is all pretty straightforward. Tract 48, drop off, small parcel, apply to all labels, which for some reason there's only 14 of them, which means somebody's put in a wonky address. Let's see if we can find the wonky address. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Oh, geez, oh. You're allowed 35 characters per line. This one is TA Ian Wall Furniture Restoration, and we frame it. That's more than 35 characters. So we just need to edit that, pop that in there, and see if that is now good enough. There we go, that fits. Excellent. And we can put in our weights. So I used the Royal Mail thing through eBay. I was trying Every and Yodel and a few different carriers, but I've just no confidence in them. So I'm back to Royal Mail pretty much full time. So we've got everything picked in order. So all we need to do now is bang in the weights and pile them up again, and keeping them in just that reverse order. We keep doing things one way, then the other way, then the other way, and that keeps it all moving, so that when it's ready to stick the labels on, they all come off in order. James Patterson was 3 kilos. It always tells you to select a size, but for the most part it does that automatically because they're all a weight. Then we've got Harlan Coben for 2 kilos. So the postcode tells me I'm looking at the right order. What's the postcode written in the parcel? And then the weight lets me put the weight in, obviously. We've got SO14, which is 2000. Michael Connolly. And then the next one is 2000. Because we check the postcode, we check the weight. And the next one is, you guessed it babes, 2000. And then this one's going to Northern Ireland. Oh no, it's not. I thought that said Northern BT. It's DT. Oh, there we go. Either way, it is 2000. Followed by 2000. And then 2000. That's, oh, Balach. It's by Loch Lomond. Then we've got the Robert Galbraith, which was only 1500. And the Rosie Goodwin, which was only 1000. But I'm going to call it 1500 just because I like that number. We have Katie Ford. Check the postcodes, check the weight, put the weight in. Then first of our Baldaccis, 2500, and then 2500. I'm looking for my mouse, which obviously isn't there. And the last one, the Elizabeth I Omnibus by Margaret Irwin, is 1 kilogram. So then we click out of that. £60 and 45 pence. So 60 quid to eBay, 60 quid in post, 60 quid in profit. See, Take me another couple of minutes to stick the labels onto those, but 45 minutes to do all the packing. Took me about half an hour to pick them all earlier on. Another 5-10 minutes on bits and pieces earlier. So say a very, very, very generous 2 hours, and that'll include the time it takes me to drive down to the Royal Mail office and get back, which I won't be coming back because I'm going off to pick up some books. So 2 hours to make 60 quid. You can decide whether or not that is worth it. Anyway, great to see you all again. If you've enjoyed this, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Why the heck not? Doesn't cost you anything. Really, really, really helps out. Getting these videos seen by more people, or giving people the opportunity to click on them rather than them only being shown to a few thousand folk at any given time. So thank you all again for your support, for watching all of these other bits and pieces, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.